Hi people, and hello my Chili Con Carnage crew, it's Chili here for an end of year list, and this is my top 20 songs for 2024. And of course, without further ado, let's just jump straight into it because there's a lot to cover. These scars won't define us. Machine Head, In Flames, and Lacuna Coil. Yeah, this is a big star-studded track, and it almost feels like the, Roadrunner Records and that whole thing that came out some 10 or 20 years ago now. And this tune right here, it was a very last-minute inclusion, to be honest. I only listened to this song a couple of days ago before making this list and thinking, damn, this track, it goes hard. But that is obviously because of Machine Head, and of course the other bands all on here as well, just add to it. But at the end of the day, it's very... But at the end of the day, it's very low on my list, only because I haven't had enough time to go forth and listen to it. It's like they say, last in, first out. So, unfortunately, this is where it is on the list, but it is still one killer tune. Go forth and listen to it, because, yeah, it's just amazing to hear the bands just on here all coming together and just writing this tune right here. And because it's great to hear all the bands just here coming together, playing this one song, and all their styles just being fused here. It just is so sick. It's loud, heavy, in your face. Great. It's a great song. Up next is Lenny Kravitz with TK421. Very weird track title, of course, here, and I still have no idea why it is called as such. But for this tune, it's interesting because, Lenny Kravitz seems to tap into his inner Prince and just brings out this mad funk energy on this tune, and I love it. Because while this album was, let's admit it, pretty lackluster, there was still a couple of tracks here and there that weren't horrendous. And this track right here, TK421, was one that really shone out above the rest of the album. And for good reason. I mean, like, when you're listening to it and you're listening to those funky bass lines and of course the guitar, it's just great. It's just a fantastic mix. And yeah, it might teeter on a bit of a longer side in regards to maybe outlasting its state, but it's still a really good tune at the end of the day. TK421, Lenny Kravitz still has the ability to write these songs, and he just does a fantastic job tapping into that funk, era, I guess. It's almost like listening to some old school track. And on top of that as well, don't forget the Godzilla roars that you can hear towards the end. They're just hilarious. Orange Goblin, Not Rocket Science. Yeah, now this is another track that was just, in particular from this band, very much a peak within their field. And I was super excited, of course, to go and listen to this record and be like, alright, what has Orange Goblin got to offer? And yeah, it was a pretty good album, I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't great, but at the end of the day, it's very hard to, of course, top what you have once written. Now, this tune in particular, though, is one of those ones that just makes you go, oh damn, this is like balls to the wall, just getting its freak on and going just nuts. It's just amazing to hear, and I absolutely love it. It's just a basic rock and roll tune. It's unashamed of its heritage, and I think that's great. I think that's what makes it work. This tune is just phenomenal when you're playing it. Make sure you do it loud, of course. There's no other way around it. I'm not going to yarn about it too much longer. Go forth, just listen to that tune.
It's not rocket science and we're doing alright.
Crown of Thorns is next by Lords of Black, and I have to say, this tune is just simply great. It's amazing to hear, I guess, in this day and age, music that is still played in the theme of older styles of rock. In this particular instance, they're taking, of course, that Dio approach with their sound, and of course, as well as their vocal sections, and just taking it to the next level. I think if Dio was still with us, he'd be bloody proud of this tune, and of course, the music that the guys have written for their recent album. It was a fantastic record. But unfortunately it just slipped out of the top 10, I guess, at the end of the day. But needless to say, I should say that Crown of Thorns was one tune that really stuck with me as this fantastic piece, and I absolutely love it, hence why it is this high on the list. Go forth and check it out if you're into Dio, if you're into Rainbow, if you're into all of his projects, because you are gonna love Lords of Black, and you are gonna love, of course, the tune Crown of Thorns. Go forth, listen to it now. Yeah. Mushroomhead, Emptiness. Now, this is an interesting entry because, Mushroomhead is one of those bands that I said was one of the worst albums of the year. But exceptions can be made because, the album as a whole might be bad. There is tunes on here, however, that do make it quite redeeming. Emptiness is that tune, but with a little catch. And that is because, I guess, pretty much it sounds exactly like a Mr. Bungle tune. And Mr. Bungle is just amazing. Or Faith No More, even better. But yes, Emptiness is just one of those rare examples where Mushroomhead got it right. They shifted gears rather than trying out for that whole mainstream style. We're going to go try our style, our experimental, weird, metal style, and they did it right. Emptiness is Mushroomhead doing their style right. Everything else that they did on that album was a disservice to their fan base, I reckon. But, when you go listen to this tune, it's not out of place to something like QWERTY or, Ego Trip or any other track that you would have heard from their first couple of albums. It's a great song, and I'm going to defend this. In fact, this song alone is the reason why I didn't put Mushroomhead album in the top 10. I excluded it because of this one track alone, and Emptiness is just a great tune. Love it, fantastic groove. Great bass line. Yeah, it might be ripping off Faith No More at the end of the day, but hey, who isn't knocking off Faith No More? Up next is NOFX track, and of course the last drag, and this was from, of course, the Half album EP. It's been a very sad year for punk bands that are calling it a day. We have Sum 41 calling it a day, and NOFX who have called it a day. They did their last tours about a couple of months ago now, and this song right here is a testimony, of course, to Fat Mike and his whole lifestyle, his whole prerogative of writing music and of what he does. This isn't the last drag of a cigarette. This isn't his last rehabilitation or his last real detox of drugs. No, he's not going to give that up. It's his detox from music. It's a sad reality that after 45 years of doing this game, they have to find out what they're going to be doing with their retirement. Because at the end of it, they won't have the energy to do this forever. And it is a sad day to see NOFX quit the live scene. I guarantee they won't stay off the stage, but they might even do a couple more tunes. Either way, I think that The Last Drag is a fantastic tune that just shows that NOFX still had it up until their dying breaths. And this was just a great one, even though it does take a while to ramp up, get to where it's going to, and talk about, of course, the fact that this is the last songs that we are playing ever live. But it's a fantastic story, and I guess the wrath that is Fat Mike talking about his whole lifestyle. Listen to it because, by the time it gets up to the precipice of the tune, it's built up very well, and I just love it. It's just like this sad moment, this sad reality of NOFX, but hey, thank you for the ride and so long, and thanks for all the shoes, of course. Night Terror, Dream Theater. First and foremost, let's get this out of the way. It's great to have Mike Portnoy back in the band, writing music with, of course, our favourite progressive metal outfit. And yeah, we've all seen the footage where, he's been on stage and gotten emotional from everything that's just going on. It's been years since Mike Portnoy was behind the kit for Dream Theater, and not to say that, the drummer beforehand was not as talented, because damn, that guy was a beast, but it's just, I don't know, out of place without him, I guess. It's like that shoe that doesn't quite fit right. So of course Mike Portnoy is now back. An album is in the making. It's going to be released in the next couple of months, so you're damn right I'm going to be covering it. And it's a bit of a shame, I guess, because even the last album that they did, I thought that was a killer album. But interested to see what is coming out, because yes, this song in particular, showing its near 10-minute epicness, is just a fantastic way to show us what the band are going to be doing moving forward again. And it sounds like, they have just managed to just get back into the groove straight away with this one. I think the drum is on point. I think the whole band is actually on point, to be honest, except for that live performance with the vocal sections, but the less we say about that, the better. But regardless, I think this is going to be one hell of an album, and I can't wait to see when it comes out. So let's keep an eye out for that. The Smashing Pumpkins' War Dreams of Itself. Now, I've got to say, Smashing Pumpkins have had a fantastic resurgence thanks to this recent album, Agori Mori Mai. Now, it's fantastic to hear, of course, Smashing Pumpkins come back into the fold and say, we're going to listen, or rather, we're going to write music that's more in line with our traditional styles of tunes, rather than all this kind of artsy-fartsy crap that they have been doing for the past couple of records at least. I mean, Autumn was horrendous. It had one track out of 33 that were good. Maybe two. But at the end of the day, that means there were 31 or 2 tracks that were just horrendous. And that was split over 3 albums. We did not appreciate that. We don't care for that. At the end of the day, the Smashing Pumpkin fans, they're going to come back and listen to their 90s material. And I'm glad that Billy Corgan bit his pride and just admitted that, yeah, alright, I'll go and write a new album and it's just going to be like the old style. You can do your artistic shit. You can do it to the side. But at the end of the day, just your Smashing Pumpkins. Go and play these heavy riffs like you used to and everyone's just going to be fine with it. And it proved itself more on here as well. So similar like Pearl Jam, Smashing Pumpkins have had a return to form and it's great to hear. So I just finished off my Spotify Wrapped list and I found out that Pearl Jam is in my top list. I'm very surprised, I guess I could say, but not really, because Pearl Jam had an amazing comeback with this record. I think it's fantastic to see that the band did a great job here with, of course, Dark Matter, but the best track had to be Running off that record, and it's a great callback to their older sound, one that has been lacking for the better part of a decade really, because everything that has been released from, say, Lightning Bolt up until recent times has been very average, has been very dull almost. But then there's this stupidly aggressive tune that's fast paced and in your face with Running, and I love it. It's a fantastic tune. I think it's great. And of course it just speaks to itself that, you know, Pearl Jam still have it in them to write these types of songs. I think it's great. Don't ever lose your edge, Pearl Jam, because you're showing it and now it's back, so don't sheath that blade. High Desert Queen, Solar Rain. Now this is a great record, of course, Palm Reader by High Desert Queen, and this slot was almost taken by another track of theirs which I want to give a shout out to, which is Head Honcho, but Solar Rain narrowly beat it out, and that is mostly I think due to the fact that this is a long track. I love long tracks, and it's got that amazing jam kind of running through its entire duration. It's stoner metal and it's just fantastic to listen to this tune, coming back to it, you listen to the solos, it just jams out, plateaus, just chills for a minute, and then it crunches up high and heavy, hitting, and it's just like fist pump, yeah, it's a great tune. Amazingly heavy, solid all round, and it's just incredible. I believe from memory as well, this was the album closing track, and it's a great way to close off the record if that is the case. Conversion, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. Yeah, this tune right here, you know what? Actually, I'm listening to it again and I'm just thinking to myself, it does remind me a lot of Oh Children. I'm surprised I didn't bring up that kind of parallel back in the day. There is a lot of that. But at the same time, this is Nick Cave getting back to what he does best, I guess. Just writing his smaller tunes as opposed to what was on Ghosteen, which is an album that I just didn't appreciate. And the tunes there were just too grandiose and just big in scale. This one is much, well, sounds bigger than, of course, many other bands on our list, but still is much more drawn in compared to his other stuff. And I think while Wild God is a fantastic record that earned its spot, of course, on the top 10 albums of 2024, Conversion is a tune in itself that earns its spot in my top 20 songs of the year. While it might not be as high as some of the other tunes that'll come up next, it has a special spot, maybe because 1, it's Australian, and 2, it's Nick Cave. But it's still a great tune, simple pace, it builds up fantastic precipice to it, and it's just great to listen to. Floods of Triton, Mastodon and Lamb of God. Yeah, who would have picked these two bands coming together and of course writing the tune? I think it's very epic that they did, and it's amazing of course at the result, but if someone told me to bet money on this outcome, then I would have never done so. Still, I am grateful that we are here with this song. It's great to hear these two just coming together and clashing and melding almost, because yeah, it's like the elements, the best elements of both bands just showing itself on this one tune. You've got the heaviest of Mastodon and of course the extreme side of Lamb of God just coming forth in the song as both, the vocal sections play out, both the bands even playing out their guitar sections, and it's just a mad mashup at the end of the day. Fantastic tune. Still pretty short as well. I think it's only about 3.5 minutes long from memory, and it's just great. Go forth, listen to it. It's just, yeah, absolutely nuts. Moscow Mammal. This band has made my top songs of the year list twice in a row now, and the previous list was Keanu Reeves, of course, which was released on this album as well. Now we have the album that came out at the very beginning of this year, and Moscow is one hell of a tune. It's an amazing track to get pumped up to, a fantastic opener if you were going to be seeing them live, and just one great piece. It's also very, very catchy with, of course, the lyrics, "They don't play this shit in insert town here." And I think this is a very versatile tune the band has written, because you can actually replace that town with another town's name and make it work when on tour. It's fantastic. Go forth, listen to Mammal. If you are unfamiliar with them, they're like Australia's Rage Against the Machine. I don't know how to describe them, but they rock hard. And this song is no different.
They don't play this shit in Canada or Bolivia yet. They don't play this shit.
Endless Place, Pallbearer. This tune right here just feels, well, it feels like it is written by Pallbearer, isn't it? It's a very doomy piece, slow, sludgy, and it's 10 minutes long in duration. However, what really makes this song, I guess, stand out to your standard doomy kind of pieces is the fact that it actually has an interesting build-up that is a little bit different to your regular style. It begins off with this little acoustic intro, and of course built into the actual tune itself. After that, of course, you have those thick, clunky riffs being played at the slow dirge almost, and those vocals that are added on top of it. But what makes this tune stand out, not only on this album, but in doom metal in general, is the inclusion of the saxophone solo towards the end of the tune. It's a very bold statement to do this and include such an instrument, but it works. And they have made it work. Maybe they took the inspiration from the track Miasma by Ghosts off that album from Prequel, but I'm just speaking out loud, who knows what the band has at the end of the day. Either way, this is a thick, doomy, soupy tune, and the inclusion of these instruments just adds different elements, I guess, to what is an otherwise very one-dimensional feel. So, very good, A+ for the experimentation. I think it paid off well, and made this tune very memorable. Of course, it's a very well-written tune in general, so I'm not going to hate on that. Lavender by Druidess. Technically, this song actually came out last year as a single, but I'm going to include it anyway, because I only discovered this band this year, and in particular this song. This tune right here is just mint. It's perfect. It's, you know what? I'm not even angry that it's probably got its own TikTok trend at the end of the day, because, it deserves it. It's a great tune, and I don't think that it's been at that point where it's overplayed or overhyped that the tune itself becomes unbearable. And I don't know if it'll get to that point either. Druidess is this incredible album, and it earned its spot on course on my top 10 albums for 2024, and they just came out of the blue. This is one of those bands that I hope that you have stumbled across them if you've known them. Like, I hope you stumbled across them in your own way and reasons, and have a story behind it, because, they have a great sound to them. It's like mixing Typo Negative with Alice in Chains, and it's just this amazing 90s sound to a band that is only a couple of years old at this stage. And this is their first album. Lavender was their first single, and it's amazing, because I could have sworn this tune is like a page out of, 1994. It really is. It's just a perfect example of people taking inspiration from, fantastic musicians in the past and just saying, damn it, we're going to do it our way now. This is it. And it's done just so perfectly. I was not ready when this song Spit in the Casket played out in my headphones from Leatherlung. Jeez, does this song just go balls to the wall crazy right from the get-go. Their style is just nuts. I don't even know what to say. These towers are thick, soupy, and amazing. It's almost like a steak has been dropped in a bowl of soup and you're expected to drink it up, because that is the weight that it is within. These tunes are amazing. This record was incredible, but just this tune in particular, Spit in the Casket, it caps off a fantastic record and a great way to just open up the entire album. If you don't know this tune, it's like aggressive stoner metal, and it's a fantastic song that you must listen to. It's just amazing. It's almost got those I won't say black metal influences, but it definitely has aggressive undertones to it, and the vocal section in particular, beautiful. Love it. So go forth, listen to it, because yeah, there's a really good track here, and of course a reoccurring motif that'll come up a little bit later.
I told myself that day I would make you better.
Speaking of reoccurring themes, we have Burning Times with High on Fire. It's fantastic to have another record out at the end of this year, of course, with High on Fire, and it was a great record. But on top of that, this is just a furious affair on this track, and this band has just the history that always shows that they are capable of writing amazing tunes. This song is no different. It just instantly gravitates towards you like some kind of black hole, sucking you into its, vortex, if you will. You're going to go down, and you're going to hit this little plateau that is burning down. That ship is not going to save you, because at the end of the day, everything just goes down with the ship. And then there's no difference here with Burning Down. Wow. What a tune. And Mike's vocals just shouted at you. Oh, you can just feel that there is shit just about in this storm. I love it. Great tune. Amazing. And if you couldn't tell, of course, with this reoccurring theme, I love stoner metal, and I love it played nice and loud. Not if you understand Marilyn Manson. Yes, Marilyn Manson is on this list, and for good bloody reasons, because he has had one of the best comebacks I've seen out of a musician in several years. And I thought he was done. I thought he was out for the count a couple of years ago. Of course, he made We Are Chaos, and then he kind of just gave up. Of course, the accusations that came out and everything about it, and I'm thinking to myself, nah, he's done. He cannot make any kind of music after the fact. And he stayed silent, and it's probably for the best that he did. And then all of a sudden, we get an announcement that there's new music coming out. I'm thinking to myself, this could be interesting. He's stayed underground for quite a while. He might have some serious aggression built up within him. And of course, all of this proved to be true with One Assassination Under God Chapter 1 being released. There was some incredible singles that were released beforehand, but Not If You Can Understand Me just hammers it home. And I think it just is for the best reason. It almost sounds like this is a song that could have been used as an outtake from the Antichrist Superstar album. And it just shocks me to my core to believe that, I'm in disbelief as to how Marilyn Manson can still do these types of songs. He can still scream this loud. He can still do everything that he once did from years prior, and is still doing it now as a 50-something-year-old musician. It's absolutely nuts. I love this song. Can't get enough of it. Go forth and listen to it if you haven't, and go forth and listen to the album, because yeah, that is one hell of a record. Vacancy, Druidus. Yeah, I'm going to be including 2 spots of Druidus here, and that's because, Lavender was a big song for the band. It made a massive breakthrough for them, but it wasn't my favourite by the band at the end of the day. No, that is where this spot comes into play. When you listen to Vacancy, it is just a next level song. It's even the follow-up song to Lavender, and it does feel a little bit out of place at first, because yes, it is dreary, slow-paced, takes its time to get to where it wants to be when it's telling its story. It's a 6-minute track where 3 minutes of it is in an extremely slow pacing, but it's heavy, it's loud, it's in your face. And at the end of the day, when it gets to that halfway point, all of a sudden the drums just kick in and it goes nuts. The bass is off its head, everything's going sideways. It's like a tornado is ripping through a trailer park. That's how I can describe the thrashy affair that's taking place once you listen to it, because it is just absolutely insane. I love that breakdown, and the fact that it goes from 0 to about 1,000 in about a blink of an eye. It's a great tune, easily the best song off this record, fight me otherwise. Aisai Gojira. This is no surprise and should be no surprise to any metalhead on there. It should also be on their top of their list, because this right here is when metal just made its way into the mainstream media. Not just basic metal either. Gojira is heavy as fuck, but still, this is on the international stage in the way of the Olympics, and the performance that Gojira did just captured the world for, the briefest of moments. It was just incredible. And the fact that Gojira are now going to be the ones leading the charge, I guess, for any kind of metal band in the future, I'm just proud of that. If the torch has been handed down from Metallica down to Gojira, I am all for that, because they're in safe hands, and I don't care what anyone else has to say. It's great to see, of course, that they had a massive surgence in fan base right after this song was released, and for good bloody reason too. From what I heard, it was something like they doubled their numbers. That is absolutely crazy. But we have to, of course, speak about the video clip, which should be playing hopefully now if I've edited it correctly here. And it's just this mad video clip of just flamethrower shooting. And of course, this was performed outside the Paris Concierge, and it was just amazing. They're just chained onto the side of the bloody building at the end of the day. Red ribbons spilling forth as Marie Antoinette is holding her head in the window, and a boat just goes past with her headless body on it. I mean, this just off so many conservatives, and I find that hilarious. Hey, the French Revolution happened. History is not kind, and this song just proves it. Metal is here to stay, and it always will. So that is going to wrap up all my favourite songs from 2024. Give me your list below, or at least tell me a few of your favourite tracks if I've missed any. And as always, enjoy your New Year's. Thank you for the support for this year, and stay spicy out there, everyone. If you've enjoyed this content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to us, and stay notified for future music related content, because it keeps our manager happy at the end of the day. We are also on Discord, Instagram, Facebook, and all those other social platforms if you want to check us out. As always, people, you have a great day and stay spicy.